Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just here to introduce Andrew, and very pleased to say that he's become a real friend over the last few years. Actually, before I get into that, I'd just like to thank Lenny and crew for putting on a great conference, as they always do each year. And if you haven't seen them, I think we should all go up to them and say good job. Because it's tough to pull off an event like this and do such a great job. As I mentioned, Andrew's been a great partner. A little known fact, he's a Brit. He married a woman and wound up being in Finland for the last 25 years, and I keep saying to him, wasn't it wet or cold enough where you came from? So he's a good guy, and he's here to talk about, this is our second year that we've worked with the GRBN to put up their results online. And actually, this is the first year that the GRIT report is also online with all the results, both in a Dappercy dashboard. So you can get the GRIT report through Green Book. You can get the GRBN one through our website. Actually, you can get both of them through our website. One final thing, as conferences go, you really don't do live demos. There's just so many things that can go wrong. So Andrew's going to go through this and show you some screenshots and talk about the results, and hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rudy. As Rudy said, I'm going to present some of the results from the survey we've done to look into trust. We worked with Research Now and Dappercy on this project, and we covered, this time, 9 markets, so just over 9,000 interviews, to look into really the issue of trust and what are some of the key drivers behind that trust. And my presentation today really is all about action. I'm going to present you the results. Yes, I hope you're going to be interested by the results. Yes, but my true goal here is to get some of you to say, yes, I want to do something about this. Okay? So that's going to be my challenge to myself, to actually get some of you to take that one step forward to say, I am part of this solution for creating trust in the research industry. Because at the end of the day, we have a fantastic opportunity. I think the demand for data, the demand for insights has never been greater than it is today. And that's the opportunity. Unfortunately, I feel this is somehow how we've treated our respondents, our participants, and their opinions over the years, perhaps as a free resource that we can mine and extract value from to create profit, without really thinking about the people and their thoughts and how we could actually do something for them. And I'm not the only one to think this. I don't know, I come from the UK, as Rudy said, and if you have seen the recent inquiry into the UK polls, they came back with the main finding that sample quality, at the end of the day, was the key issue, why the polls got it wrong. One of those issues of sample quality is response rates. Go back to 1995, one polling company would say it took them 7,000 contacts to take 2,000 interviews. Fast forward to today, 30,000 contacts to get 2,000 interviews. Sample quality. So response rates are important to our industry. We can have innovations, great, but if the foundation upon which those are based is bad data, not even the best innovations are going to save us. But let's get positive again. If we can treat people like this, if we can have empathy for them, if we can understand, if we can create a trust relationship with the people, I believe we can create a world where we have increasing participation, increasing response rates, which at the end of the day will enable us to deliver not only better insights, but to do so more quickly and more cost effectively. Better, cheaper, faster. But to do that, we do need trust. And I think today I'm just going to talk a bit about the mountain that we have to climb to get there and some of the things that we could do. To frame the results slightly, I want to talk about trust in general. We measured trust in 16 different types of organizations. Here's trust in government. Any Canadians in the room, you can give yourself a round of applause for trusting your government, because nobody else does. And in this framework of trust, out of the 16 organizations, the only 2 that were basically trusted on average were the police and banks in your own country, so your national banks. Everybody else, on balance, is not trusted. So the de facto position people has, you are not trusted unless you can prove to me that I can trust you. So how does the market research industry look? Brazil stands out positively. Part of the insight behind that is obviously trust in a lot of other things in Brazil is not so good. So relatively speaking, the research industries are good guys in Brazil. And the one I want to focus on is Germany. The German research industry has worked tremendously hard over the last years to create a trust with the general public. They have an annual research day where they actually go out to the marketplaces around Germany, set up stalls, give people ice cream, give them beer, which is never a bad thing, and tell them why it's important to participate in research. And there are other reasons, obviously, but that has been also part of the solution for the Germans to be able to create an impression that they can be trusted. If we look at the overall trust and what are some of the drivers behind trust, we can see that there are three core drivers we looked at. One was the trust in personal data, which, based on the statistical analysis, accounts for 50% of the overall trust. So that's core, that we have to be able to let people trust us with their data. But in addition to that, there are two other things we looked at. One is the perceived value of research. Does it make a difference? Does it matter? And finally, are we giving people a good user experience? And I'm going to take you through some of those results. Why is personal data important? If we ask people, are you concerned about your personal data? As many as 85% say, yes, I'm concerned in the US. As many as 41, I think, percent said, I'm very concerned with my personal data misuse. Okay, so there is this feeling of concern within there. And what that means is that if you look at these results for the trust in market research, it's even worse than the overall trust. Okay, there is this general feeling of distrust. One of the reasons behind that is that only 1 in 4 people think that the collection and use of personal data by market research firms is appropriate. Okay? And these are people answering surveys already, and 3 out of 4 are saying it is not appropriate for you to collect and use my personal data. The other thing that we found out, that our ability to communicate what we're doing with the data has also not been good enough. Again, only 1 in 4 people roughly say they feel well informed about what we're doing with their data. Again, this need for us to communicate more openly with how we are dealing with the people is going to become more and more important. This is how we compare as the research industry in the US to other types of industry, and we can congratulate ourselves on being more trusted than social media, than media companies. But really, at the end of the day, I don't think we're doing good enough. I think this is not a true reflection on how good we are. I think we are much better than this chart tells us. So it's a communication problem as much as anything else, although also obviously transparency in itself is important. Not going to go into the details here. One of the ones I want to point out really is just this one, that there is concern that is their data really safe with market research companies? Now, fortunately, we haven't had a cyber attack on our industry yet, a real coordinated effect. But I think if the criminal element really realized how much valuable information this industry holds, I think they might get quite interested in trying to break some of your firewalls and actually get some of that information. So be warned and be prepared. The perceived value of research is important. Obviously, people see that research has value for business. They're less sure that research has value for themselves, either as citizens or consumers. And I think this, again, is not a true reflection of what we do. We do a lot of great stuff that is really good for people. We do a lot of great stuff that is good for society. Why don't we tell people about that? Why don't we shout that message about how good our industry actually is at delivering value back to society? We're too shy. We need to shout that message much more clearly. The user experience is an issue. This chart shows you the proportion of surveys taken by different devices. The US leads mobile at the moment, 35% of surveys taken on a mobile, irrespective of whether they are mobile surveys or not. Amongst the younger people, that is over 50%. If you look at the 18 to 34-year-olds, over 50% of the surveys they take on their mobile device. What that means, of course, is we can have a problem with survey length. So there is concern that surveys are too long. There is also concern that are surveys enjoyable? And I think we've seen enough presentations of that over the last over today, and we'll see more tomorrow that will tell us that enjoyability is an issue, that we need to be much more clever at creating an enjoyable experience for people taking part in research. This is actually pretty good. The mobile friendliness of surveys. Most people are saying, yes, the surveys I take are mobile friendly, but this is really crucial for the overall trust. If you are delivering poor mobile surveys, then their trust in a research company goes through the floor compared to them saying, yeah, the mobile. Because it really is a personal device for them, and if you're giving them a bad experience on their most important device, I think it's more important than your wallet, probably more important than your wife, your mobile phone. So if you're giving somebody a bad experience on that, you really are running a huge risk. So this is my plea, the call to action, that I hope I've shown you that we do have a problem, but it's also an opportunity more than a problem. But to be able to do something, we all need to act. Yes, the industry body such as ours can do something, but I think the onus is on you as business owners, as researchers, to actually also step up, step forward, and say, yeah, I want to be part of the solution. Now, we're giving you an opportunity to do that in a very easy way. We've created an initiative called the 100-Day Challenge. So if you Google GRBN 100-Day, it'll take you to the website, where you will be able to sign up for one of these challenges. Now, the 100 days don't have to be a predefined 100 days. You choose when you start. But our plea to you is to take a pledge to actually do something, to do something better in the next 100 days than you did before, to tackle one of these issues. On the website, you'll find 7 different things you can work on, but today I'm going to pull up 3 of them which are related to this issue, and to give you some ideas of what you could do. So data privacy, we talked about how important that is in today's world. One thing you could do if you work with research participants is to work on your transparency policies. Talk to your participants. Do they really understand what you're doing with their data? Should you change the way you communicate? Could you be more clear about how you're collecting data, how you're storing data, how your clients are using that data? To really challenge yourself to be transparent with respondents. If you collect data and you don't already have it, I would seriously suggest you look into ISO 27001, the data security standard, because that will become crucial in part of this protection of the data. So if you don't have it already and you collect primary data, you should seriously consider looking into getting that standard. The value to society, I would plead to you to communicate not only to participants, but also more generally to the public about the great work you do. Okay? Tell people about it. You guys do a lot of fantastic work for people as either consumers or as citizens. So why not tell them? Why not let them know they've been part of something that has done some really good stuff? Also pro bono, I think we don't do enough of that in our industry. So if you do have a passionate cause, a cause you're passionate about, go to them, offer to do a bit of research for them. It's not going to cost you a fortune to actually give something back to society. And finally, the user experience, particularly in the US, but elsewhere. I mean, mobile first really has to be the way to go. There's no excuse for not doing mobile-friendly surveys anymore in terms of the data quality and the user experience that you're giving. And obviously, we know today that it's not only impacting them, it's impacting the tens and tens of people they talk to about the crap survey experience they had yesterday. Okay? You're not just impacting one person. Today's world, you're impacting a lot broader one. And finally, ask a stranger to look at your questionnaire. Ask him to read it and give you feedback. How enjoyable was that 30-minute experience to go through? Or even a shorter questionnaire, are we really doing that? So I've still got, I'm 19 seconds over time. So I'm going to wrap up now. This is my message. So hopefully I've given you an understanding that, yes, we do have a problem, but it really is an opportunity. But it's up to all of us to step forward, but not off the stage, and actually take that challenge, actually do something about it. And if you want to connect with me to discuss how you could do that, I'm more than willing to talk with anybody who wants to take action to make our industry a better place for everybody. So thank you very much.